Monday Night Raw Hot Takes, where I take your thoughts, your opinions, your hot takes from the previous episode of Raw, SmackDown, and or PLEs. And if they bring back WWE main event, well, actually, that's currently airing, and I don't do hot takes for that. So never mind. Let's just go on to Rolly the Keykeeper. Bronson Reed weakens Braun Breaker once they're in the same faction. I agree with that, actually. I definitely agree with that, because it's like Braun Breaker was the muscle, but then you have someone bigger than him be the muscle. This changes the whole dynamic. Let's get a couple more in, but he does ask also, a spear with some distance or multiple tsunamis. Ooh, that's tough. That's a tough one. I would say the tsunamis, if he gets like 6 in, like he did with Seth Rollins. But then again, that spear that Braun Breaker gave Carlito that one time, that lives rent-free in my head. So I would say the spear until we get up to 5 tsunamis. Once we hit 5 tsunamis, the tsunamis take over. Then we have Kenny Hudson. Bronson and Bron were better before they joined Seth. Now they are just the new AOP. That is a reference to when Seth Rollins was the Monday Night Messiah, and he had Authors of Pain as his backup. Now, if you don't know who they are, they were recently Karrion Kross. They were in Karrion Kross's group. They were the Authors of Pain for a more current reference. But yes, they definitely gave off those vibes with Seth Rollins as the charismatic mouthpiece and the 2 silent big dudes flanking him. And then Jimbo Slice, slight nitpick from me, but after seeing Bronson with the group tonight, I realized it kind of takes away from how imposing Braun Breaker is, because he's not the heavy in the group anymore. Imagine if Evolution had Brock Lesnar instead of Randy Orton. Batista wouldn't be the big guy of the group, he'd just be the number 2 guy. Regardless, I know Braun will be all right. So I'm agreeing with you, but not only does it make Braun Breaker look smaller, but actually it kind of makes Bronson Reed look smaller too. I was shocked yesterday at how small Bronson Reed looked, because this is a big dude. I don't know if it was the fact that he was wearing black, and as Bishop Marley pointed out, black is very slimming, or if it's because he just got off of injury, but the guy did not look nearly as imposing as he once did. And actually, same with Braun Breaker. We should not be covering these guys up in suits. I definitely feel that they are being treated as just mindless muscle. Now, Paul Heyman did go to great lengths to build up Braun Breaker, which was great. I loved his analogy of Skynet and the Terminators coming back from the future. That is nerd stuff. I didn't know that Paul Heyman was such a nerd. I should have suspected it. My nerd senses should have tingled. No wonder I love the dude. But at the same time, it's just like they're lost in the background. It's like they are like Seth Rollins' secret Hervis. They just wear suits and they're just there to make sure Seth wins. Now, on one hand, that's what a faction is for, kind of, sort of, some factions. But this was supposed to be a faction. To me, it should be, at least, should be, not supposed to be. I don't know what Triple H is doing, so maybe he does want to just prop up Seth Rollins and not so much the other guys. But I felt like this was going to be an evolution situation here, where we were not just going to build up Seth as a big bad main event player, but rise up the other people in the faction as well. And Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed seem to now just be completely mindless, silent assassins for Seth Rollins, where I feel like they should kind of be under the learning tree of Seth Rollins. Like when the faction started, Braun Breaker was being told, explained to by Paul Heyman, why is stuff happening? And now he's just in a suit being silent? That's it? The dude has a lot of charisma. So does Bronson Reed. Why are we putting them in a silent position here? And you're right also about Braun Breaker looking weak. If we had both Batista and Brock Lesnar behind Triple H, yes, that would have been a super faction, but it would not have really elevated Batista the way it did had it not been Randy Orton. And same with Brock Lesnar. He was fine on his own. Bronson Reed was fine on his own. He didn't need to be in this faction, and they should have got someone smaller. That way Braun Breaker could have been the Batista and Austin Theory could have been the Randy Orton. Yeah, so it's not over. This is still a really good faction and there's still lots of opportunity, but stop dressing them just as suit and tie. We don't need Southern Justice from the 90s. We need individuals. They all need to be individuals. Batista looked like an individual and Randy Orton looked like an individual back in the Evolution days, even when they were all wearing suits. They were all able to talk, they were all able to shine, and Triple H would put them over. It was great. Evolution, for all of its faults, and sometimes it did have a stranglehold a little too much on the world title. They did what they accomplished to do and made two megastars, and that's what Seth Rollins' group needs to be doing. Not putting them in the back so they can be silent and hold their hands and just wait for Seth Rollins to say jump. Yes, sir, Mr. Seth. So yeah, because I get it. The end goal is for Seth to win the title and for Braun and Bronson to help. That's fine. But in the meantime, those guys need to raise up as well with their own individual feuds while still helping Seth with whatever his goals and alignments are. So yes, Seth will win the title and you can win the title. This title right here, I'm going to give away at 20,000 subscribers. All you got to do to win is comment below. Subscribe to the channel also and hit that bell notification. Ding, ding. And the thumb wants you to like the video. If you don't believe me, listen to the thumb. Yes, he tells the truth. I want you to like the video. Told you so. I told you so. Thank you, Thumb. You're welcome, Chop. All right. So, that said, I'm trying to quit the day job. That's why I do all of this. Well, no, I actually do this because I love wrestling. I would still produce wrestling videos without quitting the day job. However, the videos will be so much better if I do quit the day job. So, help me out and win this not a toy title belt. I'll ship it anywhere in the world, free of charge. Next up, John Cena sucks. I think Karrion Kross should go to AEW because WWE is not doing him justice. I'm sure a lot of people think that way. That is the beauty of having two major promotions, that if you suck in one, maybe you'll do better in the other. However, Karrion Kross has gone on record and said that he does not like the perspective of the grass is greener on the other side. He goes by the perspective of, well, water the grass where you're at. Karrion Kross does not want to leave the WWE because he's not being pushed. He wants to prove himself and make the WWE push him. So I get your perspective, but Karrion Kross actually would not agree with it right now, and he wants to see this out and make himself undeniable and get himself pushed. Bishop Marley, I am not feeling the Roxanne Dom cheating girlfriend storyline. It seems like a rehash of the thing with Liv and Dom. I hope they do something to switch things up to make it more interesting. I actually think that's the point. Now, I could be wrong in that Triple H tends to recycle wrestling ideas way quicker than any other booker I've actually ever seen, because I actually don't mind when you recycle a storyline that's been, used like 5 or 10 years ago, but like this was literally last SummerSlam, Rhea and Dom, and they are doing that. Now, the difference here might be it's so blatant and so obvious that it's a rehash, in that it might be a karma situation where it's like, I think KB put it in the group chat, where it's like, you lose the one you love the way you got them. And Liv got Dom by like him cheating on Rhea, and so now Liv is going to lose Dom by him cheating on Liv with Roxanne. So I get what you're saying, but I'm kind of all for it because I love this idea of Dom just being able to be this woman's man, this ladies' man with that stupid mullet and mustache. It's like, how does this guy do it? Negligence. Finn Balor is back. Let's go. Oh, poor Finn. Poor Finn Balor. Like, there was no chance in the world this dude was gonna win. I want him to win. I have the Finn t-shirt, and yet, in all the universes of the multiverse, Finn Balor did not win last night. It's just like, there are constants. There are constants in this world. Sante Zap says, death, taxes, and Charlotte Flair wins titles. Well, I say on Wrestlechop, death, taxes, and Finn Balor will take the pin. Those are your constants in this life. So money on repeat, Lyra dropped a heck of a promo. She may be pound for pound the best women's wrestler as far as clean moves and very functional. I do agree that she came out and delivered one of her better promos. I think she is a really good wrestler, but I have kind of not been paying attention to her because I have not been caring about her character. But this Becky Lynch feud has made me take notice of Lyra. So I watched her promo last night. I wouldn't say it was like the greatest promo of all time, but I will say that it was one of her better promos. And if she can just keep building upon this foundation, then she's going to be in good shape, and I'm going to be forced to take notice of her pretty darn soon because, like, I'm noticing now. I'm just like, okay, Lyra, let's see what you got. I haven't fully invested on the Lyra stocks, but I'm close to it. I got my money out. I got my credit card out, and I'm just waiting for one more giant moment with Lyra before I'm like, all in. All in. John Cena sucks again. I think Dominik Mysterio has played a super dangerous game with the ladies, and LOL, every man should be jealous because Dominik can get hot women when us nerds of wrestling can't. I think we all live vicariously through Dominik Mysterio. But don't sell yourself short, John Cena sucks. Did you see Lyra Valkyria's fiance? Us nerds can pull one in every once in a while. No shade. Okay, well, maybe a little shade to Lyra's fiance, but good job, dude. Anthony Smurth, I think I got that name right one time, and now I've butchered it ever since. I apologize, but that was the best Raw since the Raw after Mania. I actually did enjoy it. And then, Thin Sticks, good thing I decided to go. Yeah, good call, Thin Sticks. Raphael Adair put 3 former black and gold champions in the ring, and you get a banger of legends. This match was the best Money in the Bank triple threat qualifier so far. Talking about Finn, Seth, and Sammy. Believe it or not, Finn Balor actually used to be dominant and actually was a great NXT champion. But all of them were. Seth, I believe, was the first NXT champion before it became the thing that it did. And yeah, though, all of them, banger of a match. Good, very good, solid main event. Number 2, I called it. Liv will lose Dom the same way she got him. Liv versus Roxanne will cook a fine dish. Yeah, well, you know, when you're right, you're right. And 3, Chad Gable is a wrestling machine in the ring, and on the mic. He single-handedly got me invested in the match with El Vikingo at Worlds Collide, and the suplexes are a work of art. Mwah! I added the mwah! But, yeah, Chad Gable, I don't know why we don't push him harder. The dude, there will never be another Kurt Angle, but Chad Gable is probably as close as you're going to get. He's like 95% Kurt Angle. He can go in the ring. He can go on the mic. Serious or funny. Good or bad. The dude has it. And it's like, why do we let him just lose and take pins and just like, it's insane to me. He is so freaking good. And yeah, I'm interested in Triple A's Worlds Collide because of Chad Gable. I'm interested in so much because of Chad Gable. Heck, I'm thinking of drinking All American Beer Light because it's sponsored by, or the spokespeople are American made and Chad Gable. So it's like, man, just push this dude. Push him to the moon. You know what? No, we always say push people to the moon. Push Chad to Mars. Get him all the way on Mars. Chad Gable for Mars, because this dude needs to be champion. And I'm disappointed he's not in the Money in the Bank, but I get it. The dude's just being pushed every which way. He has almost as many feuds as Jay Uso right now. Good job, Chad. Luigi O! Cole and Pat. This is them saying that you tapped out. Gunther, there is no word to describe the pain you will feel at my hands. So Gunther just mad at Cole and Pat for saying you tapped out. But when Jay says you tapped out, Gunther's like, understandable. Have a good day. Make it make sense, people. I can't. Gunther should have totally destroyed Jay yesterday. In fact, I love that Jay has multiple storylines going on, but these multiple storylines need to start wearing him down. If Jay Uso is just talking throughout these, okay, so he confronts John Cena here and they just talk. He confronts Gunther here and they just talk. he confronts Logan Paul here, and they just talk. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, where's the physicality? I said this in my Raw review, but I'll say it here too. There was a Batman storyline called Nightfall, where Batman was put up against all of his villains, his entire rogue gallery, and each comic book he would go through, and he would just get more and more tired, more exhausted. So by the time he got to the middle of the story arc, he was done. And it's because he just kept fighting and fighting and never stopping. That's what should be happening to Jay Uso. We should be wearing Jay Uso down through his feuds. He's divided 4 ways. If he's getting beat up every week, 1 week by Logan Paul just getting knocked out from the crowd, 1 week from getting choked out by Gunther, and it would protect him too because he's literally fighting 4 different wars right now. It's understandable that he wouldn't know which way to look, and he would get blindsided left and right. And that's what we need to do to Jay Uso right now. How cool would it be to see every week him just trying his hardest, just getting worn down, still coming on top every once in a while, but eventually that's what defeats him, that he was trying way too hard to be the champion, and he just couldn't say no and back down, and that what his downfall was. All the villains came at him at once. That's a respectable title reign, in my opinion. You lost because you couldn't fight the entire roster. That's like, that's like, whoa. Pat Thrax, Kross needs to win Money in the Bank. I really hope he's in Money in the Bank. This is like the perfect spot for Karrion Kross. I'm afraid though, if Triple H is really set on making Seth the winner, then it would not, he won't put Karrion Kross even in Money in the Bank. I really, really hope Karrion Kross gets that pay-per-view spot, that PLE spot. If I could pick the winner, Karrion Kross is definitely one of my top picks. It's pretty much LA Knight, because I'm afraid that if he doesn't win, that then he'll lose all of his momentum and he'll never be able to break through that ceiling. I really like Solo Sikoa as well. I've done a whole video on it, actually. Go look back at last week. You'll see my thoughts. But Karrion Kross and Solo Sikoa and LA Knight, it's like any one of those 3 I'd be very happy with. Damian King, Attitude Era level main event. You gotta say that Lyra has been growing on me lately. I agree. Lyra definitely coming on up, moving on up, and Attitude Era level main event. You know what? It was very fast paced, and there was a lot of shenanigans, not just from the 2 Brons coming in, but also Dominik Mysterio. Storylines overlapping. I could see it. I could see. I would have. That was not my go-to thought for this main event, but now that you mention it, there are similarities. Tiz Mickey, don't get me wrong. I like Karrion Kross, and he has grown on me, but for him to stand up there and tell Sammy, a man who has main evented Mania and had several Mania moments, that he can't win a world title, while he and I have the same amount of titles on the main roster, is laughable to me. I thought that was a typo, but that was just a good burn. So Tiz Mickey and Karrion Kross tied for main roster title wins. You heard it here first, folks. But honestly, I thought it was hilarious that he said that. Karrion Kross was just so matter of fact. You're never gonna win a world title. You're right. The audacity of it made me laugh. To be honest with you, I thought, who is this dude? I thought it was a positive though, not a negative, because it just made me crack up. It's because you're right. Yeah, dude, you've had 1 WrestleMania. What are you talking about? I loved it though. I loved that for Karrion. Donatello Leonardo, I'm really not happy with giving Seth the briefcase already, and yet it's obvious that is the plan at this point. I guess maybe LA Knight or Karrion Kross can win a world title if they move over to TNA, assuming WWE doesn't book Trick to bury their top star on top of that. And sorry, Triple H, but my opinion is real, since I spent the majority of my Memorial Day weekend attending your extremely expensive shows. I thought Saturday Night Main Event was great, but Raw was underwhelming, to say the least. You and I usually agree, but we're going to disagree just a little here. I like this Raw. For one, I did like this Raw, and for 2, I don't mind Seth winning the qualifying match, just like I didn't mind Rhea winning her qualifying match last week. What I will mind, though, is if Seth wins or if Rhea wins. I like when you have some main event talent in the Money in the Bank, because you do kind of think, oh wow, they're just gonna win, and it's like shocking, surprising, and helps put the actual winner over if they decide to go with someone like Solo Sikoa or LA Knight or Roxanne Perez or Julia, you know what I mean, or Naomi. It means way more for Naomi to win that Money in the Bank if Rhea Ripley is in the match. So if Seth loses, I'm happy he's in the match. But you're right, you have a bigger say than I am because you were a butt in the seat, and that's all Triple H cares about. KSA Drilla, the Karrion Kross burial attempt. Creative would rather listen to the dollar signs than the fans. The stage was mid too. Well, I do understand listening to where the money is, but the fans are the ones that spend the money, so, like, you can do both. You can listen to the money and the fans, and I do think that there is a large enough section of fans that are crying for Karrion Kross to be pushed that they should at least attempt it and see if this is just the minority or if this minority is the litmus test for the majority and that Karrion Kross could be over with everybody, if that makes sense. Daniel Pabu, I was a big Jey Uso fan before he won the IC belt. Following Backlash, I was fully invested in him. When he won the IC championship, it was amazing. They used to walk around just randomly yeeting all day. Yeet, yeet, yeet. As a fan, I felt that he had fallen off around the Rumble. I agree there. Like, he won the Rumble and kind of like, it did diminish. Now, though, something's different about him. He still says yeet. He still repeats words during promos. He still uses the same moves, but he's carrying the belt. And some may say the main event very well. I agree there. I definitely agree. I'm a huge Jey Uso fan, but I do feel that of all the people that the internet cries about, they probably have the best case in Jey Uso. It's like, Jey, you need to step up just a little bit more. And I do feel with this World Championship, it's only been like, 6 weeks? But he has stepped up his game. And I'm definitely enjoying Jey Uso as World Champion. And I hope that this continues. I hope they go back to that Nightfall storyline where week in and week out, he's just getting, he's winning, but he's getting worn down to the point where finally, when Seth Rollins does take the title off him at SummerSlam, it'll be very logical and acceptable and even honorable that he continued the fight, even though he had been through so many wars to get to SummerSlam. And coincidentally, Batman for Life, I bet my references here, you probably, hopefully you're digging, says yeet. I swear I did not know Batman for Life had commented. Elking O, let Cody Rhodes turn John Cena face again. Don't know how they're going to do it. I could see John Cena, I could see it being Cody Rhodes, I could see it being R-Truth, I could see it being, honestly, I don't know. Like, in reality, it should be The Rock. The Rock should come back when John Cena loses and slap John Cena, and that slap wakes up John Cena. He then does the 5 moves of doom to The Rock, and then we send The Rock off to Hollywood forever. That would be the ideal situation to bring back John Cena to the face side. But The Rock has in his contract that he does not get beat up in movies. Therefore, I don't think he'll want to get beat up in WWE. Pedro Sana Andrade, why is Finn always getting pinned when narratively it would have made more sense for Sammy? It's almost comical that Finn can't even hit his finisher anymore. I agree. Christian Inko, probably a hot take, but honestly, Rusev should win the next Royal Rumble. I think he is underrated and can be slotted into anything. He is very underrated. I hope that this feud with Sheamus reminds people how good he is. I don't think he's going to win the Royal Rumble at this point. I'm kind of afraid he'll never win the big title at all. I think that 5 years gone in WWE really, really hurt him. But that said, I would have left WWE too after that stupid storyline with Bobby Lashley and Lana. Like, oh my gosh. Rusev is a long way to go before he gets back to that Royal Rumble victory, but you never know. You never know. Jimbo Slice, if Penta had dropped anyone other than Chad Gable on his face like that, that would have ended a career. Chad has an Olympic wrestler's neck that saved him. Holy crap. There was a move that Penta did where like Dragon Lee was on his back and Chad, and it was scary. It was straight up scary. They did not replay that because I think that was a total botch. I love you, Penta, but please don't ever do that move again. I understand that TKO isn't letting you guys do as many house shows as you once did. Therefore, you're not in the ring practicing your moves as much as you once did, but there is a ring. There is a ring set up before each taping. Please go and practice your moves more because nobody, Penta, Chad Gable, nobody wants to kill their opponent in the ring. And there are just way too many botches on WWE TV right now. I'm not sitting here saying that I could do any better. No, I couldn't. If I were to try to perform any move in the ring, I would botch a headlock, okay? So you guys and gals are way better than me. However, I have seen more botches this year than in my entire 36 years of wrestling. So it's like, please, I'm more worried. I'm not like insulting anybody. I'm just worried for your well-being. Please do whatever it takes. Take whatever steps it takes to not kill your opponent or permanently injure them. And if it's practice more before Raw or just don't do the moves, that's cool. I don't need to see those moves. I'm still going to enjoy you, Penta or Chad or whoever. I will still love you because I'm more interested in the storylines anyways than these crazy moves that like put your necks literally at risk. Tracy Woods, for some, this comment might be a hot take, but I like tonight's show. I agree with the person who said it was the best Raw since the day after Mania. I only yawned once. I actually yawned 9 times yesterday, but I was on a lot of painkillers, so I think that might have affected my overall mental state. I might have been a little sleepy because of that. I will say I actually enjoyed it too. It's crazy to me that it's a hot take now to like wrestling. I do feel that a lot of people they go in with a negative mindset saying this is going to suck, and then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, there are people like TTJC who I know is very logical about things, and he didn't like last night's Raw, so not liking last night's Raw, and Donatello Leonardo didn't like it either. So not liking Raw doesn't mean you just hate watch the product. However, I do feel that there is a certain section of the population that does hate watch the product, and that's just an insane viewpoint to me. I actually loved it. I did love last night, but if you didn't, I'm sure you had your reasons, and as long as it's not if you haven't liked Raw for the last 52 weeks, then maybe you're hate watching. But if you're just no, it didn't hit home. We're all different, so an episode for you might not hit home, but an episode for me and Tracy might. So I don't know. You might want to think about when was the last time you did like Raw. Let me challenge each and every single one of you out there. When was the last time you did an episode of Raw? Pixel Pinfalls. Lyra is a better promo worker than Becky. I disagree. She had a better promo yesterday. Becky wasn't making a lot of sense yesterday, but just one better promo doesn't make you a better promo worker, so I'm still with Becky on that. Lyra, though, is great in the ring. 618 Prez, AEW is better. Shake my head. I still am more leaning towards WWE, but AEW actually is getting better week in and week out, and coincidentally, so is WWE. I am a big proponent of AEW success. The better AEW does, the better storylines WWE does, because literally, if WWE doesn't have competition, they get lazy. And now that AEW is on an upswing, suddenly WWE is writing their stories better too. So please, Tony Khan, I wish you all the luck and best wishes in the world. Do better, please. Because selfishly, that means WWE will do better as well. I love when there's a strong second promotion. Najib says Seth Rollins looks gangsta. He does. He actually does look pretty cool. It's OTW. Dragon Lee, Penta, Gable might have been the greatest 10-minute triple threat of all time. Recently biased. It was a really good one. That was really good. And Dragon Lee, he did this move. He came off the ring apron one time and just pretty much gave a Braun Breaker-like spear. It was amazing. Dive, whatever you want to call it. It was so good. And then I'm surprised that they're presenting Braun and Bronson as Seth's bodyguards instead of his equals, especially since they're both already solidified solid solo acts. Let's give them time to cook. Yeah, I'm surprised with that too. They are already solo acts. They should not be just henchmen now. Going full circle with this video, they should literally they shouldn't be presented as equals to Seth, but I can see like one step under. They should be considered proteges. And those are your hot takes for Monday Night Raw. I loved these hot takes. Very, very diverse. Very, like, I got a lot of Karrion Kross. I got some Lyra Valkyria, Braun Breaker, Jay Uso, Gunther. Like, great stuff here, people. I loved it. Thank you so much. Judgment Day. I love when there's, like, multiple things to talk about. And I love each and every single one of you. Those who even who hate watch WWE. I appreciate you, and have yourselves a good day.